Hello everyone, this is Nurhan, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I guess this is going to be my first tutorial, and we're going to be making this duck, and I wouldn't say this is super beginner friendly, but like if you're up for a challenge, you could do it. But I would say this is a bit more for advanced crocheters, but this is what it looks like, and you can add so many cute things to it. I think before I've added knives and roses and like hats and cute things, so you could definitely like customize this to your liking. But yeah, so the stitches that you're gonna need for this project are just a single crochet, and you're gonna need to know how to chain and slip knot as well, and slip stitch. So I will go through it a little bit more slowly in this tutorial, but like I would also search those things up on YouTube and find maybe more slower tutorials for that in case you're a beginner, or like, you know, maybe my video isn't as clear. And yeah, that's all. Good luck. I'm gonna show the supplies you need. So first you need medium worsted weight yarn in the colors like yellow and orange, a 5mm crochet hook, some scissors, a yarn needle, a stitch marker, 14mm safety eyes, some stuffing, a hot glue gun, and this is optional, but if you want to make it a keychain, if you have keychain links, and if you have some pliers, you can make it into a keychain. Now let's get on to the tutorial. So you want to start by grabbing the yellow yarn and making a slip knot. And it's hard to explain, so just watch me carefully. And I have a slow-mo version of me doing this coming up. After that, you're going to put the hook through that loop and tighten it by pulling on the long strand of the yarn. And then you want to chain 2. So this is done by wrapping the yarn around the hook and pulling it through the loop, just like that. It's kind of hard, so here's a slow-mo version of this. After you have the chain 2, you're actually going to insert the hook in the second loop. So as you can see there, and then you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook. So you have 3 loops, and you're going to pull that through until you have 2 loops. You wrap it again and you pull through 2 loops. So this is actually a single crochet. And here's a slow-mo version. So also we're actually crocheting in the round. This is just one way to do it, by chaining 2 and then inserting the hook in the second one. There's other ways to do it, like a magic circle, if you want to search that up as well, but this is what I started with as a beginner. And now that you've got it, we're actually going to insert the hook in the same second chain and making another single crochet. And I mentioned earlier we're crocheting in the round. That's because we're going to do 6 of these in the middle. So right now we have 2. We need to do 4 more. So once you've got your 6 single crochets, which kind of look like V's, you want to insert your hook in the first single crochet you made, like that one right there. And you're gonna wrap the yarn around the hook and then pull it through. So you have 2 loops, and then you're gonna wrap it again, just like that. Here's a slow-mo version in case that was a little quick. So once you have that single crochet done, you're going to grab your stitch marker and kind of attach it there to mark the beginning of a new round. And then what you want to do is insert your hook in that same stitch where the previous one went in, just like that. And this is called an increase. And a slow-mo is coming up in case that was too quick. And then what you want to do, so that's one increase and there's 6 stitches, right? So I actually want to increase in all of them. Oops, I messed up. I want to increase in all of them. So in the next one, you're going to go in and make 1 single crochet. And then in that same one again, you're going to do another single crochet. So that's your second increase. And by now you should have 4 single crochets in that new round. By the end, you should have 12. All right, so there we are. Make sure to count so you know you're on the right track. So there should be 12. And then what you want to do is remove the stitch marker so you can crochet in that stitch again. After you single crochet there, you want to attach the stitch marker. And then in this new round, you actually want to single crochet in the next stitch over. We're not going to increase in the same one right now. And then you're going to have 2 single crochets for that round, right? This new one we just did and the one before it with the stitch marker. Next stitch, we're actually going to increase. So we're going to do 2 single crochets in that one. So the pattern for the third round is going to be 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, increase. And you're going to do that all the way around to the stitch just before the stitch marker. All right, so I'm at the end. I'm just finishing up that last increase. And after I'm done, I'm gonna remove the stitch marker and single crochet in its place. So you can see a pattern here. Every time we reach the stitch marker, we remove it, single crochet, add the stitch marker again. In this next round, it's actually going to be a repeat of the last one. So you want to do single crochet, increase again, all the way to the end. You're going to notice something different about this round. I kind of haven't perfected the pattern for this duck. You're actually going to have an extra stitch at the end, as you can see here. I just single crochet in it and I pretend like it's not there. So that's what you're going to do. And yeah, now we're at the end. There's the stitch marker. We're going to remove it, single crochet its place, add it again. Okay, this is where making the duck body gets a little bit easier. We're actually going to single crochet all the way around. So there's no increases. You're just going to go in the next one, single crochet, next one, single crochet, and keep doing that all the way around until you reach the stitch marker again. All right, so I'm at the end and I'm actually going to keep track of my row count using like a paper and a pen. And the reason I'm doing this is because we actually want to have 9 of these rows. We're going to stop at the 7th one though, but you're going to do the same thing, just single crochet for basically 7 rounds. There we are, and this is what it's going to look like. And we're actually going to add the eyes now. So bring out your 14mm safety eyes, I think they're called. And what we're going to do is add the eye the 7th round down, between the 7th and 8th. So you can see here the rounds are pretty clear by the circles. And this is also helpful if you lose track of the single crochet count, like the 9 rows. You know the first 4 are the increasing rounds and then the rest are single crochet. But I digress. We're going to count 7 and you're going to insert the eye between like the 7th and 8th one. Yeah, so you can see me doing that there. Perfect. And then the next eye is gonna go, I'm just double checking. Okay, so extra. Yeah, so we grab the next eye and we're gonna insert it 5 stitches across. So you can kind of see it here in this close up. I hope it helps. Yeah. Now that we have it in place, we're gonna grab like the other, securing end, and I usually attach it like the thinner side towards the eye. Yeah, there we go. And then you can go back to single crocheting the other 2 rounds now. All right, I'm done. So in this new round, we're actually going to start decreasing. So the first stitch is, going to be a single crochet. So we have 2 single crochets in this round. And then the next stitch is going to be a decrease. So you're going to insert the hook, wrap the yarn, pull through, but then you're actually going to insert the hook in the next stitch over and then wrap the yarn again and pull it through. So you have 3 loops. Wrap the yarn and pull it through. And that's 1 decrease. Here's a slow-mo. Okay, so now that that's done, the pattern for this row is going to be 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, decrease. And yeah, just do that all the way around. And you're going to have 1 stitch again left over at the end of this round, as you'll see in a bit. Just single crochet in it. Also, you can see me here skipping a stitch. This is what happens when you don't pay attention. Make sure that the hook, like the stitch that you're inserting your hook in, is the one right beside, not a stitch away, because then you could miss a stitch and it'll look bad. So as you can see, there is in fact 1 stitch left over. So we're just going to single crochet in it. Now don't rush into the next round. It's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to remove the stitch marker. And instead of single crocheting in like the whole thing, like the whole V, we're going to only insert the hook in 1 line of the V. So pay very close attention because this creates like a nice line effect in the duck. So once you have it in, you're going to single crochet as normal and attach the stitch marker. And then from there, so you have 1 single crochet. The next one is going to be a decrease, but you're going to do it in the back loop only. So it's going to be a little tricky, but you need to decrease in this round because we're almost done the duck body. So yeah, there we go. So the pattern is going to be 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, all in the back loop. And then what do you know, we have a stitch left over, so we're gonna have to single crochet there, but in the back loop obviously. And when you're done this round, you're gonna see like a cool line at the end of it, which just kind of, you know, gives like a nice separation from the upper body to like the feet. And what you're gonna do is remove the stitch marker, but you're not gonna start a new round yet or crochet in its place. You're gonna grab the stuffing and stuff it. And I don't really have like a formula for this. I just kind of do it until it like looks good. And don't fret too much if it's not perfect, you know, the first time. Like stuffing it the right amount comes with experience. But yeah, your next round, you're actually going to start on a decrease. So be careful. The stuffing kind of makes it hard. But yeah, just do the decrease and then grab your stitch marker and attach it to that stitch. And the pattern for this round is a decrease all the way because we're closing it. Most amigurumi end with like a decrease all the way. And yeah. So I am doing my last decrease here and I've reached the stitch marker. So we're going to remove it and close this little baby duck up. So grab your scissors and your yarn needle and you're going to cut like a generous amount of the yarn and pull the hook, yeah, up like that. And this kind of like secures it in a way, but you're going to grab a yarn needle, feed it through. And what we're going to do is like feed the needle, through the stitches, like that last round, as we can see here under the V. And you're going to want to feed it through all the loops, or not the loops, the stitches. And I usually do it in like a zigzag, you know, in and out formation. And after you're done feeding it through all the stitches, you're going to want to pull on the yarn pretty tightly just to close it up. And then you're going to insert the yarn, you know, kind of in the same general area from the bottom and stick it out, you know, in a random place in the duck. And when you do that, like pull on it so then it kind of like, yeah, pulls it in and it looks kind of flatter. And you're going to grab the scissors and snip it out. So that kind of loose end is tucked in. And I kind of just squish the duck a little to fix the body. Moving on to wings, we're going to kind of start in a similar way. You're first going to make a slip knot. And then insert the hook and chain 2 again. We're going to crochet in the round, as you'll see again. After the chain 2, insert the hook in the second chain from the hook and single crochet in there. And you're actually going to want to do 4 of these. For the body, we did 6. For the wings, we're going to do 4. Now that we're done the 4, we're counting there. Okay, we're going to insert the hook in the first single crochet we made and single crochet in there. Since we're starting a new round, we're going to add the stitch marker. And in this new round, we're going to increase all the way. So in the same stitch, you're going to add another single crochet. And then you're going to repeat that in the next stitch and up until you reach the stitch marker. So you should have 8 since we started with 4 and we increased all the way. Your next thing you're going to do is single crochet in place of the stitch marker. And this is where it gets easier. You're just going to single crochet in the next stitch, and there's no increasing or decreasing. It's just single crochet all the way around that round. So you're going to go, one round, and I kind of cut that piece because it was annoying from the 2 chains we did. And you're actually going to do this 2 more times. You want to have 3 rounds of just single crochet. And then what you're going to do to close it off is remove the stitch marker and insert the hook like you're going to crochet, single crochet, but you're actually going to pull that 1 loop through instead of single crocheting, and then chain 1. And I'm going to show slow-mo because that was pretty quick. This is called a slip stitch, by the way. I don't know if I said that. And then when you're done that, chain 1, you want to cut a very generous amount because we're going to sew with that. And you pull the yarn all the way through and tighten it. And there we go. We have 1 wing. It kind of looks like that on the duck. And we actually want to make 2. And there you have it. All right, we're getting there. 2 more body parts. So for the beak, we're going to start a similar way. We make a slip knot, insert the hook, whatever. Instead of chaining 2, though, we're going to chain 5. Here's a close-up just to show what the 5 chain is going to look like. And from there, you're going to insert the hook in the 2nd chain from it, like we did before. And when you do that, why am I removing it? Okay, I'm just showing it. You're going to do that, and then you're going to single crochet. This is another close-up, so we can see we have 3, chains left. We're going to single crochet in them too. So now we have 4 single crochets, and what we're going to do is chain 1, and then we're going to flip it. And in that, first chain we ever made, we're going to insert the hook because we're going to single crochet on the opposite side to kind of make the other half of the beak. Okay, it's being really blurry and annoying, but just want to show a close-up of where you insert the hook next to do another single crochet. It's going to be right beside the one where we did it, the one that we just previously did. This one is harder to see, but same thing. We're going to insert it into the 3rd chain, above the 3rd single crochet from the other side. Here I messed up because I inserted the hook under like one kind of strand, but I wanted both. Anyways, next one right there. Let's keep going. We're almost done the beak. After that, you're going to chain 1, just like we did on the opposite side, right? And then we're going to insert the hook in the other side, that first single crochet we kind of made. And we're going to slip stitch to close it off, and then chain 1. Also, you can see here I almost messed up. I used the short end instead of the long end to continue to do the slip stitch. So make sure you're using the strand attached to the ball of yarn. Anyways, there we go. We've chained one, not changed. And we grab the scissors and cut also a generous amount because of sewing. And pull the yarn, the hook through. And you see the loose end? I've kind of worked it under the single crochets. If you didn't do that, that's okay. You can also use the yarn needle to drag it under or, feed it under. But we are done the beak. All right, guys, home stretch, last kind of body part. So what we're going to do is slip knot and chain two, the whole deal. Then we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook again, and we're going to do 5 of them. Here I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, we are going to insert our hook in the first single crochet we ever made and single crochet there. And don't forget to attach your stitch marker. From there, you're going to single crochet again in the next stitch. And the pattern for this round is just single crochet all the way through. There we are, we're at the end. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and then slip stitch in place of the stitch marker and chain 1. So we're ending it off here. The feet, super easy. This is all you have to do. Also cut a generous amount, but we're actually not going to sew it. We're going to glue it to the duck. But there we are. So we have 2 loose ends, sorry. So I'm going to cut one of them because that's not important. But the other one is a little bit important. But yeah, what you're going to want to do is make 2 of them, since 2 feet. And I'm going to show you how to kind of like hide that end. So what you're going to do is grab your yarn needle and feed it through. And we actually want to close this end of the foot. So we're going to insert it in and kind of go, is vertically, I don't know, like kind of what I'm showing here. And this flattens like the duck's foot a little bit, and it just looks nicer in the duck, I guess. So I go like 2 rounds of like sewing it back and forth, and then I grab my scissors and I leave like a short end. Don't cut it all the way. All right, we're finally on to sewing. So I first like to start with the beak, and there's really like no one way to sewing, with crochet. Like you just kind of have to figure out your own kind of groove, but you can watch here how I kind of do it. I also want to preface, I've made like at least 30-40 ducks in the past like 6 months, so I have a lot of experience. So don't be discouraged if yours doesn't look as amazing like as not amazing, okay, I'm gonna hype myself up here, but if it doesn't look as good or up to your standards, so keep trying. But it's okay if it doesn't look that good in the start. My first duck was like horrendous. Anyways, I digress. Good luck sewing. So what I like to do, with the loose end after sewing the beak is I usually have the yarn stick out near where I'm going to be placing the feet. And you'll see why later on. And then I usually grab my scissors and cut that piece of yarn short. All right, now time for the wings. Same thing as the beak. You just kind of have to find your own groove, but here's how I do it. All right, so I'm attaching the second one here, and I just wanted to note that I usually have the yarn, like from the first wing, I don't cut it yet. I sew the second one next, and then I have the loose end stick out from the same spot in the duck. And then I'm just cutting it short here, but I usually tie it 2 to 3 times. And then I cut the loose ends short again, as you'll see here. And then I use the needle to kind of tuck those strands in. This just adds like a little bit more security. It's coming along really well. Yeah, I'm so happy. Okay, easiest part of making this whole duck. So you remember when we put the strand of yarn from the beak near the foot? Now you'll see why. So this kind of adds security like we did for the wings. We're going to glue the foot where, you know, the short strand from the beak is sticking out and the short strand from the foot is sticking out. You kind of put it face, you know, on top of the glue, or I don't know the phrasing, but this just makes sure that loose strands never, ever, ever come out. And after hot gluing it, make sure you press on it really hard while the glue is still hot, so it like really sticks nice, like really tightly and securely to the duck. And you're done, and you can stop here, or you could add a keychain link. And you're done. So this is what it's looking like. I hope the tutorial was easy to follow. Apologies if it was unclear. Sometimes it's like my first time making something, and I also don't have a tripod. So I should probably invest in one soon. But hopefully you guys had fun making this. Tag me in Instagram if you make it, or send me. I'll put my socials in my caption, or yeah, caption of this video. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.